Jax Corvin's ranch stretched for miles under the twin suns of Iridian, a frontier planet at the edge of human-colonized space. The land was harsh and untamed, dotted with jagged rocks and alien shrubs that glowed faintly at night. Yet it was home. With his teenage daughter Mara, Jax had carved a life out of the wilderness, raising genetically enhanced livestock that could survive the extreme temperatures and scarce water. Jax was strong and steady, a man used to solitude and hard work. Mara, though young, had inherited her father's resilience and curiosity. Together they worked from dawn to dusk, repairing fences, checking the herds, and learning the subtle ways of the planet. Life was tough, but the quiet routine gave them a sense of peace. That peace, however, was about to be disrupted. On one particularly hot afternoon, Jax climbed onto his all-terrain rover, Mara sitting beside him. They were headed to the colony hub several miles away to pick up supplies. The hub was a bustling place, a tiny oasis of civilization surrounded by the raw, untamed frontier. Mara's excitement was evident as she watched the shimmering dust clouds rise from the plains. "I hope they have some new holobooks today," Mara said, her eyes bright. "Maybe," Jax replied with a grin. "But we need food, water, and medicine first." As they approached the hub, Jax noticed a small figure huddled near the market entrance, a woman with worn clothes and a young girl clutching her hand. The girl's face was pale, her eyes wide with hunger and fear. The woman caught Jax's gaze, and for a moment he saw something familiar in her tired expression. Determination, strength, survival. Lyra, the woman, had lost everything in the last colony accident. She had wandered for weeks, finding scraps of food and shelter wherever she could. Tali, her daughter, was sickly and weak from lack of proper care. Lyra had tried to reach another colony, but doors were closed and kindness was rare. Now she was almost desperate, yet unwilling to beg. Jax slowed the rover and called out, "Are you two all right?" Lyra hesitated, then nodded. "We're managing," she said, her voice firm but quiet. Mara leaned forward, curiosity and compassion lighting her face. "Are you hungry?" "We can help," she offered. Lyra shook her head. "Thank you, but we don't want to trouble anyone." Jax studied them for a long moment. He knew the frontier could be cruel, but he also knew that humans survive best when they helped each other. Something about these two strangers, this mother and daughter, stirred a protective feeling in him. "Listen," Jax said. "I have a ranch nearby. You could come with us for a while. My daughter Mara, she'd like to meet Tali. It's safe there. Food, water, shelter, everything." Lyra's eyes widened, suspicion and hope battling in her expression. I can't just leave," she said cautiously. "We don't know you." "I understand," Jax said calmly. "But sometimes strangers can become family." Mara smiled, holding out her hand. "Please come with us. You won't regret it." After a tense pause, Lyra finally nodded. "All right, just for a little while." The ride back to the ranch was quiet. Tali clutched Mara's hand, occasionally glancing at the vast plains that stretched endlessly. Mara talked about the animals, the strange plants, and the small adventures she and her father had faced. Tali listened intently, her fears slowly giving way to curiosity. When they arrived, the ranch seemed like a small fortress against the wilderness. Jax guided Lyra and Tali through the homestead, the barns, the water reservoirs, and the pens where the livestock grazed under the sun's fierce glare. The alien animals were a sight to behold, creatures with fur that shimmered like metal and eyes that glowed in the dusk. Tali's awe made her forget her hunger for a moment. Jax showed them to a spare room that had been prepared. "You can stay here for now," he said. "We'll get you settled. Tomorrow we'll show you the ranch proper." Lyra looked around, absorbing the generosity of this man she barely knew. "Thank you," she whispered, the weight of her journey evident in her voice. That evening, as Mara and Tali helped feed the animals, a strange sound echoed from the distant plains, a low, guttural growl that made the hairs on their arms stand up. The frontier was alive with danger, and Jax knew better than anyone that safety was temporary. "They're out there," Jax said quietly. "Wild packs. They don't usually come close, but tonight, they might." Lyra's protective instincts kicked in. She pulled Tali closer. "We'll be careful," she said. Jax nodded. "Good. We'll take turns keeping watch. Frontier life isn't just about hard work. It's about vigilance." Over the next few days, life at the ranch became a rhythm for the newcomers. Lyra helped with chores, learning the delicate ways of handling the livestock. Mara and Tali explored together, climbing rocky outcrops and discovering hidden streams. Slowly, laughter replaced the tension that had shadowed their arrival, but the peace was fragile. Rumors reached Jax from the colony hub. Scavenger gangs were moving closer, drawn by whispers of the ranch's valuable livestock. These weren't ordinary thieves. They were opportunists, ruthless and cunning, who thrived on chaos. One evening, as the sky burned orange with the setting suns, Mara spotted movement on the horizon. Small shapes moving quickly over the plains, carrying crude weapons and glowing lanterns. Jax's heart tightened. "They're coming," he said, voice low. Lyra grabbed Tali's hand. "What do we do?" "We defend," Jax said firmly. "We use what we have. Traps, fences, anything. Humans survive because we think, adapt, and protect each other. That's how families, real families, stand strong. Together they prepared." Jax showed Lyra how to reinforce the fences. Mara and Tali helped stack supplies in strategic locations. The girls learned that courage wasn't about fearlessness. It was about acting even when afraid. As night fell, the scavengers approached. Shadows moved across the plains, their figures dark and menacing. The humans at the ranch stood ready, hearts pounding, minds sharp. The first attack was sudden. A pack of scavengers charged, hoping to catch the ranchers off guard. Jax and Lyra worked together, using the fences and traps to slow them down. Sparks flew, shouts echoed, and the girls huddled in the barn, watching as the humans they had just met fought for survival. Mara squeezed Tali's hand. "We'll be okay," she whispered. "We have to be." Hours passed. The scavengers retreated, frustrated by the humans' ingenuity and determination. The ranch was scarred but standing. The family, 2 fathers, 2 daughters, bonded by necessity and bravery, had survived the first night. Later, in the quiet of the dawn, Lyra looked at Jax and Mara. I think we can trust you," she said softly. Jax nodded. "And we'll keep trusting each other. That's what families do. We protect each other no matter what the frontier throws at us." Tali stepped forward, smiling faintly at Mara. "Can we explore the plains again?" she asked. Mara grinned. "Yes, but together. That's the rule." The sun rose over the ranch, casting long shadows across the plains. The twin suns warmed the land, and a new chapter began. A homeless widow had found shelter. Her daughter had found a friend. And a seasoned rancher had found someone to share the burdens of frontier life. But the frontier was never quiet for long, and Jax knew that challenges would come again. Still, for now, the human spirit had won. Through courage, ingenuity, and trust, they had carved a small but significant victory on the edge of the galaxy. And in the distance, the wild plains whispered of more adventures yet to come. The sun rose over Jax Corbin's ranch, spilling light over the alien plains and casting long shadows of the pens and barns. The attack from the scavengers the night before had left its mark. Some fences were broken, a few supplies were scattered, and the scorched ground near the outer perimeter reminded everyone how close danger could come. Yet the ranch stood, and with it, the small family of humans who had already begun to trust each other. Jax stood near the fence, examining the damage while Mara and Tali helped gather the animals that had scattered during the attack. Lyra was close by, carrying water containers and checking the girls' well-being. Despite the exhaustion in their bones, there was a quiet pride in their hearts. They had survived together. "We need to fix the fences properly this time," Jax said, determination in his voice. "The scavengers will be back, and the wild packs will take advantage if they see weakness." Lyra nodded. "We can work together. I may not know much about livestock, but I can help with anything else." Mara smiled. "Then let's get to work. Tali and I can help with the animals, and you two can reinforce the fences." The day passed in a blur of hard work. Jax and Lyra strengthened the outer barriers with sturdy metal beams scavenged from old vehicles. They set up simple but clever traps, pits hidden under brush, tripwires connected to noisemakers, and reinforced gates that could withstand both human and animal force. Mara and Tali guided the animals to safe pens, learning quickly how to coax the strange creatures into their stalls without causing panic. By evening, the ranch looked stronger than ever. The air was thick with the smell of dust and sweat, but the family felt ready for whatever came next. They ate a simple meal together, sitting around a wooden table in the small kitchen of the ranch house. Conversation flowed easily. and for a moment the hardships of the frontier faded into laughter and shared stories. "You know," Mara said, passing a plate to Tali, "life out here isn't easy. But it's fun, too. You get to learn things most kids never even imagine." Tali's eyes sparkled. "I like it here. I feel safe." Lyra smiled, watching the girls. She felt a warmth she hadn't known in a long time. Jax had given them shelter, but more than that, he had given them hope. Night fell again, darker than before, with only the twin moons casting pale light over the plains. Jax, Lyra, and the girls gathered in the main hall. Jax had set up a perimeter watch, assigning positions to everyone. Even Tali had a small task, monitoring the motion sensors they had improvised. Hours passed in tense silence. The frontier was alive with sounds, distant calls of alien predators, the rustle of wind through strange plants, and the occasional snap of branches. Then in the dead of night, a low whistle carried across the plains. The scavengers had returned. "They're smarter than I thought," Jax whispered. They waited until night. "We need to stay calm and use our plan." Lyra nodded. "We can do this. We've prepared. We're ready." The first wave of scavengers approached cautiously. Jax and Lyra used the traps they had set. Tripwires triggered alarms. Pits captured the first few intruders, and hidden gates funneled others into confined areas. The human ingenuity of frontier life was on full display. Every plan, every preparation, every small detail mattered. Mara and Tali, though frightened, helped relay information from their watch points. Their quick thinking and courage allowed Jax and Lyra to adjust strategies in real time. When one group tried to sneak around the edge of the ranch, the girls raised the alarm, giving the adults time to block the path. Hours of tense confrontation passed. The scavengers, frustrated by the humans' coordination, began to retreat. But just when victory seemed near, a new threat appeared. Wild packs of Iridian predators drawn to the commotion and the smell of livestock. The pack was larger and faster than anything Jax had ever seen, their glowing eyes reflecting the moonlight. "Everyone, stay inside the main yard," Jax shouted. "We'll need to protect the livestock at all costs." Lyra and Jax worked seamlessly, guiding the animals into the strongest pens while using torches and loud noises to keep predators at bay. Mara and Tali assisted as best they could, herding frightened animals and keeping track of the perimeter. The predators lunged repeatedly, but the traps and barricades slowed them down. Jax and Lyra's combined ingenuity and courage held the line. The girls learned an important lesson that night. Humans could be small in size, but their minds and hearts made them strong beyond measure. Finally, with a combination of exhaustion, clever traps, and sheer determination, the scavengers and predators were driven back. The ranch stood intact, though scarred from the night's events. Dust settled over the plains, and the first light of dawn colored the horizon. Jax looked around at Lyra, Mara, and Tali. "We did it," he said softly. Together, Lyra stepped forward, taking a deep breath. "I can't believe we survived. I never imagined finding a place like this. Or people like you." Jax smiled, brushing a hand over his daughter's hair. "The frontier is harsh, but it rewards those who care for each other." "You've become part of that," Mara grinned at Tali. "See? I told you this place is amazing. And you're part of our family now." Tali smiled back, a shy but happy expression. "I like that." Days turned into weeks, and the family settled into a new rhythm. Lyra and Tali were no longer strangers. They were part of the ranch, part of the daily life, part of the small but unbreakable human bond that had formed. Mara and Tali became inseparable, exploring the frontier, learning about the animals, and creating little adventures in the vast wilderness. Jax and Lyra found themselves spending more time together, sharing meals, stories, and quiet moments under the twin suns. Each day, trust and affection grew. They laughed at their mistakes, celebrated small victories, and quietly admired each other's strength. One evening, as the sun set in a blaze of red and gold, Jax led Lyra to the top of a rocky hill overlooking the ranch. The plains stretched endlessly, the animals grazing peacefully below. Lyra looked at the horizon. "It's beautiful," she said softly. Jax turned to her, holding her hands gently. "Lyra, I know we've only known each other for a short time, but I've seen your courage, your kindness, and the way you care for Tali. I want you to be part of my life, all of our lives. Will you marry me?" Lyra's eyes widened and a tear slipped down her cheek. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, I will." Mara and Tali, hearing the announcement from below, ran up the hill, laughter and excitement in their voices. The four of them embraced, a true family forged through trust, bravery, and the trials of the frontier. In the days that followed, the ranch flourished. The fences were rebuilt stronger. New traps were designed to protect the livestock, and life continued under the twin suns. Jax, Lyra, Mara, and Tali had not only survived, they had grown together, creating a bond that no frontier danger could break. The scouts from nearby colonies spoke of the human ingenuity displayed on Jax's ranch. The story of the widow, her daughter, the rancher and his daughter spread as a tale of courage, cooperation, and the unyielding human spirit. It was a reminder to all. Even in the harshest environments, humans could thrive, protect one another, and build something lasting. The twin suns set once more, painting the plains in orange and pink. The ranch, standing firm, was more than just a home. It was a symbol of hope, resilience, and love. In the vast wilderness of Iridian, humans had proven that together they could survive, protect, and flourish. And as night fell, with stars glittering above, the small family looked to the future. They knew challenges would come, but they also knew one truth. Wherever humans face the frontier, with courage and heart they will always rise. The frontier had tested them, and humanity had won, not through strength alone, but through love, trust, and unity.